Groom, what does this mean exactly? What's the government's plan for these regional forces?
So, Richard, a bit of a background at first. This special force you've been mentioning are between the regional police, normal police, and the federal police, who are doing almost similar jobs and were created during the former regime in order to handle special activities. And so their names are Special Police Force, and they're found in almost all regions of the country, in 10 of them to be more specific. But they were also perhaps things to be so controversial about. In different parts of the country, including in the north, in the Tigray regional state, these forces were blamed for triggering conflicts and also being involved in some other activities which are not going to help the severity of the country. And so people have been suggesting that these forces need to be dissolved so that they can be joining the normal army, that's the Ethiopian National Defense Force, and also the federal and the regional normal police forces. So these activities have been started now as the government decided to do so. So they have been suggested in different parts of the Ethiopian regions that the special force need to disarm themselves and choose. Perhaps the choice has been put on the table for them, perhaps to join the Ethiopian National Defense Force or the federal police or their regional respective police force. If these all are not options for them, the government promised that they will be given a choice to reintegrate themselves to the communities they came from. So, so far that's what's happening, and there are processes and also undertakings at the moment that we see across the country. The reason generally is that Ethiopia needs to have a centralized army and a security force so that it can continue perhaps holding on to its security and also territorial integrity.
All right, Groom, with all that you said, including the dissolving issue, what's the reaction been so far from the regional authorities?
So, Richard, generally speaking, this has been widely accepted in different parts of the country, as this has been also requested by the people themselves, as insecurity in this country has been an issue for a long time. You might remember that it's just been few months since Ethiopia came out of a 2 years war which claimed 400,000 lives and destructed perhaps properties, and also disrupted a normal livelihood in the northern part of Ethiopia in 3 regional states, including in Tigray, Amhara, and Afar regional states. And nobody wants the return of such war in the future. So there needs to be one centralized army, and that's why most regions in this country have accepted the fact that this must be implemented, and as soon as possible. There are now processes being undertaken in different regions so that they can be dissolved, this special force that is, so that they can be also part of the regular army, the federal police force in general terms, or regional force, as I was saying. But there are also perhaps there is a region in the Amhara regional state that is, they are opposing this move, saying that it is unacceptable, and the government is pushing them to do something that is allowed for them according to the constitution, to hold arms to protect the region's peace and security. But the government denies this fact and saying that this is something that needs to be accepted, and the constitution says that a force in the country needs to protect the territorial integrity and the peace and security of the nation, and should be handled under a central command. And that is not the case at the moment, and we need to proceed and finish the job of reintegrating this special force. So there is still opposition, especially in the Amhara regional state. The government is trying to resolve this problem, but then again, the other regional states seem to be complying with the request of the government, and are also disarming and reintegrating with the normal force of the federal government.